LEGO is incredibly secretive about their internal processes. However, this level of secrecy has led to some pretty wild ideas among many LEGO builders. Let's explore some of LEGO's longest-running conspiracy theories, from factories creating faulty bricks to what is secretly buried beneath LEGO's headquarters. So gather around, because late at night around campfires, people tell stories about the most cursed LEGO color ever created. All over the internet, you'll find LEGO fans posting pictures of broken LEGO bricks, and they all appear to be this same reddish-brown color. This specific color of LEGO brick has plagued and cursed LEGO builders for many, many years. This shouldn't be happening, so what is truly wrong with these LEGO bricks? Fans call it brittle brown, and the legend goes that this particular LEGO color is cursed. But how can a color be cursed, you ask? Well, the answer lies in its name. Many LEGO fans have had the unfortunate experience of these LEGO bricks splintering, breaking, and collapsing into plastic rubble, specifically these reddish-brown bricks. Why has the internet seemingly been overrun by people sharing images of broken brown bricks as opposed to any other color, and why are they so fragile? No one could accept that this kind of damage could be a pure coincidence. I mean, not even brown LEGO horses were spared from the wrath of brittle brown. And it seemed like whatever was affecting this color was slowly spreading too, because an increasing number of LEGO fans began reporting on other LEGO brick colors, such as new dark red and pearl gold, that were suspiciously weak and certainly not up to LEGO's high quality standards. So certainly something was wrong. Was this an act of sabotage by a LEGO employee in one of the factories? Did LEGO's machines malfunction, or did LEGO substitute a low quality material into its bricks to cut costs? Everything was on the table, and LEGO fans had a burning desire to find answers, and luckily the answer was discovered. For decades, LEGO has been using ABS plastic since it's incredibly versatile, easy to mold, and can be created in a staggering array of colors. When it's created, this plastic is originally an off-white color, but by adding various dyes, it's possible to create nearly any color you could imagine, and it seems as though here lies the problem. It turns out that dyes, such as blue and brown, aren't just different colors. In fact, when you get down to the molecular level, there's some pretty massive differences between different colored dyes. Things like the size of the particles that make up the dye pigment, the shape of the polymers being used, the heat tolerance, and other various chemical properties. Think about it like this. If you're making a cake and run out of sugar, you can't just use salt, even though they both are white crystalline solids. So basically, it seems as if there was something about the specific reddish-brown dye going into these bricks that interacted with the plastic in such a way that the plastic became overly fragile. Simply put, these bricks were just not as strong. With reports of this issue going all the way back to the 1980s, it seemed as if all hope was lost and we would just have to live in a world of broken brown bricks. That is, until 2017. It seemed that LEGO had been aware of this issue for several years, but kept very quiet. This wasn't out of fear or secrecy though, because it appears that the company itself wasn't 100% sure what the problem was or how to fix it. The company even released an announcement stating that, quote, "We have been working hard to address reported issues with reddish-brown bricks becoming brittle and breaking under use. The issues have been identified, and we are happy to announce that they have been fixed. We waited until now to make the announcement, as we wanted to be 100% certain all issues had been addressed and fixed." So it seems like any pieces made after 2017 should be safe. But this isn't the only conspiracy theory that LEGO fans have come up with. In fact, there are two more really interesting ones. And if you're enjoying this video so far, go tap subscribe and ring that notification bell real quick as I discuss the theory of how LEGO tricked its fans. We've all heard people complain that LEGO sets are too expensive. And while yes, large LEGO sets aren't cheap, the price per piece of most themes remains around 10 cents per piece. Now that number is fuzzy and there's a lot of nuance here, but it's a really good starting point. Sets with overly large or unique molded parts like the Jurassic Park dinosaurs, or even sets with valuable licenses like Star Wars, typically have higher price per piece ratios. With that in mind, you might think that this next LEGO conspiracy is all about ripping its customers off, but you'd be wrong. A few years back in 2015, LEGO LEGO released the first Ideas project based on a TV show with the Big Bang Theory set. With 484 pieces and selling for $60, it had a price per piece of 12.4 cents, which is right where you'd expect for an exclusive licensed set. Over the next few years, we got a couple more TV-based sets, with Doctor Who and Adventure Time being priced at 9.6 cents and 10.1 cents per piece respectively. Then in 2019, LEGO pulled a fast one when they released the Central Perk coffee shop from Friends. Despite containing over 1,000 pieces, LEGO decided to sell it for only $60, placing it at 5.6 cents per piece. And in 2021, we saw the same thing with the Seinfeld set at 6 cents per piece. So what gives? This is a lot cheaper than most unlicensed sets even. So why were other sets like The Office and the Fab 5 Loft still selling for more than 10 cents per brick? Well, LEGO has some smart marketing wizards. You see, almost every company has what's known as a loss leader. These are products that are intentionally sold at a loss in order to get new customers into the ecosystem or to promote the purchase of additional products. For example, Sony sold the PlayStation 5 at a loss for the first few years of production in order to sell more games and accessories. Likewise, if you've ever run out of printer ink, you'll know that the ink itself can sometimes be just as expensive as the printer you initially bought. So the theory here is that LEGO has been using certain licensed sets as loss leaders to hook adult fans on the product. While themes such as Star Wars and Jurassic Park appeal to everyone, most kids don't want to reenact famous scenes from a 30-year-old TV show. But you know who does? Adults. And adults also tend to have more discretionary income and higher purchasing power than teens and kids. By selling sets of some of the most beloved TV locations from the 90s, LEGO was able to attract an entirely new audience of fans. And as we all know, once you build one LEGO set, you're a lot likely to buy another. And it seems like it has worked. A few years later, in 2021, LEGO put out the next Friends set, the Friends Apartments. The package came with 2,048 parts and sold for $180. For those of you doing math at home, that's about 8.8 cents per part. Still a great deal, but that's 57% more expensive on a piece-by-piece basis than the original Friends set. If there's a third set based on this show, don't be surprised if it breaks the 10-cent barrier. Now, this is still speculation, that is, unless someone watching this video right now works on LEGO's marketing team and can confirm. But the next topic is 100% true. Do you know what's buried underneath LEGO's headquarters? Well, you see, it turns out that there are ancient relics buried deep in the foundations of LEGO factories. Things intentionally kept hidden by LEGO so that the company's secrets would truly never be revealed to anyone else. Perhaps the most defining trait of LEGO is its consistency. The very first modern bricks the company ever made back in 1958 still work flawlessly with bricks produced today. The variation in size for LEGO bricks is less than 1/1000th of a millimeter, and out of every 1 million LEGO bricks produced, only 18 don't pass inspection. That kind of reliability has always been LEGO's biggest competitive edge over any other brick manufacturer. Now, initially, LEGO started making its own molds back in 1959 in the LEGO Form facility in Vejle, Denmark, where they could create up to 80 molds a year. On average, each mold weighed nearly 400 pounds, and in 1974, the mold manufacturing plant was moved to Switzerland, and over the next few decades, expanded greatly. During this time, though, a problem emerged. What do you do with the outdated, partially damaged, and no longer needed molds? The risk of a competitor finding it and possibly replicating trade secrets was just too high for LEGO, so you can't just chuck it in the dumpster. The solution was as simple as it was creative: bury them. But even then, these things couldn't be buried anywhere. They're just too large, and there's just too many of them, and the risk of discovery was still too great. Luckily, LEGO had a solution ready, because around this same time, the company was expanding greatly and building new factories all over the place. In Switzerland alone, they constructed more than 6 factories just for molds over the course of about 20 years. The solution was obvious: bury the molds under the new factory floors. It was the only way to guarantee that they would never fall into the wrong hands. And that's exactly what LEGO did. In 2016, during the demolition of the old LEGO headquarters, 120 old molds were discovered under the buildings. The oldest LEGO mold dated back to the early 1950s and the newest to the early 1970s. Niels Dudal, LEGO's vice president of manufacturing, explains it this way: Quote, when they built new factories, they took the old molds, threw them onto the floor, and put concrete over top. Nowadays, though, LEGO doesn't just bury retired piece molds. In fact, in Billund, there's a dedicated team to handling molds in order to retain any reusable parts. The selected molds are carefully disassembled prior to destruction, and reusable parts are removed and sorted before being returned to the mold maintenance department. Currently, the recycling process takes place in Billund, and if you want to see the incredible process of how LEGO makes minifigures, click here, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for all things LEGO.